What is the best camera for live streaming? In this video, I'm going to answer that question with a number of options for you. If you're new to live streaming, watch this whole thing. It's going to help you. So if you've got a good, healthy budget, or you don't have as much money to spend, there's going to be a lot of things I'm going to cover. You can see right now I have an action camera here. I've got a DSLR. I've got a webcam. I'm actually recording on a DSLR right there, and that wider view is on a camcorder. So you'll be interested to see how all of this works. I'm going to have options linked in the chapters. The options are going to be low budget, most affordable live stream camera, webcam for live streaming, action camera for live streaming, how to set up an Android mobile phone for live streaming in OBS. That's the program I use. My choice is OBS. I'm currently using right now. I could easily make this a live stream with multi-angle shots by just clicking go live. So you can see I can easily switch between cameras on screen. I can have a number of cameras. I'm going to talk to you about how to set up multiple cameras. So multiple camera live streaming. I'm going to talk to you about audio. I'm going to speak to you about lighting. Let me go back to wide shot. You could probably see down there is a light, which I've kind of directed to myself with a bit of card. There's a light just up here and a light behind me, which makes the 3-point lighting setup, and that helps tremendously with cheap cameras because their sensors might not be great, but you'll get really good quality out of them. I'm going to give you examples of all of these cameras with footage so you can see what they look like, and you could pick the best one for you. So let's jump into it. Okay, so this is option 1. It's going to be a low budget, most affordable live streaming camera. What I'm going to put in this part is 2 things. I could probably put more things in there, but I'll put 2. Let me bring you to the wide shot. The 2 things I want to put in here is a webcam. So that's the webcam. Let me bring you in on my wide there. So that is a 1080p webcam. You saw I had that on the top down shot. I'll give you an example now of how it looks and what you can do with it and how I set it up. Hi guys, so if you're here to see how the Advent Full HD Pro 1080p action camera looks, this is being recorded with the actual webcam. So this is the quality. I'll take you on to the video now where you can actually see me comparing this with my current action camera that I use as a webcam, my DSLR camera, and a quick look at... Okay, so that was a quick look at the webcam footage. I recorded that earlier throughout my journey, so I want you to see how the quality looks of that and what it does for you. This webcam, it's not an expensive webcam, it's actually a cheap webcam. I'll put a link in the description so you can pick it up. This is the box for it. And in the UK, PC World and Currys seems to be the place that sells these. A lot of people have had complaints about it, but to be honest, if you're on a budget, you can easily put that on top of your monitor. You can stream for ages. There's no battery requirements. It's plugged in via USB, so it's going to continuously get power. It's not going to get too hot and turn off, which happens with other options I'm going to show you. So for a quick and dirty way of getting a web stream set up, that will be a good option. If you've got a gameplay, you can put this in the corner of yourself and have the video being recorded of the gameplay separately, which you'll need a capture card for, which I'm just dropping there, which I've done a separate video on, but I'll link you to other bits in this chapter.
It's a wireless webcam because you can see there I'm kind of like linked on a Wi-Fi network, so I can actually walk around and give you a tour and stuff as well, so that's quite good. So yes, let's see how to set up a mobile phone as a wireless web camera for live streaming on YouTube, Twitch, Skype, whatever have you. I'm taking it to my screen now, we'll do that. So you're going to start with IP camera adapter. I'll put a link in the description. We start on our PC, so I'm downloading this straight onto my PC so I can get this ready before I go into the mobile phone store and app store and get the app. So I've been trying to do this for a while. There's loads of tutorials online. Some are outdated. Some talk about NDI drivers and all sorts. That didn't work for me. I even tried doing a screen capture of my DSLR EOS utility tool, and that was a bit of a pain because it lagged. So this is what worked for me. I'm hoping you'll find it helpful. So IP camera, when you've downloaded it and installed it on your desktop, you're basically going to go onto your Windows menu and search IP camera and open up this little dialog box. It's got a few things in there like a address, username, password. Then you move over to your mobile phone and app store and you actually download the app IP Webcam. That's what it looks like. I've already installed it. Straightforward install. Open it, and then you'll get a screen with like loads of settings on. Go through and have a look at some of the settings. It's straightforward, but main things to worry about is the video resolution that you want to stream at or make the mobile phone video available at. I put it at 720 because anything higher than that would lag via YouTube streaming. Video quality I put on halfway, and orientation auto, so if you portrait or manually it'll do that, and the frame rates I put at max 30. So that's just those settings there, and once you've gone through that, right at the bottom it says start server, but we won't do that right now. What we'll do is we'll go and set a shortcut up on my mobile phone desktop. Just make sure that's all okay. Yes. So now back to the desktop, I've created the shortcut there. When you go right to the bottom, there's a little start server button. So that there will give you what your phone will show via the IP address, and right at the bottom it's got an IP address there. So that's the address you need. But what a lot of people don't tell you is when you put that IP address into the camera feed URL, you have to put slash camera feed, or what was that? I'll put that in the description. I'll copy and paste it so you can use it. So once you click OK there, it will say successfully connected, and then you can go into your browser and actually put that same link in video feed, so slash video feed. So you'll see now I can see that via my internet browser, which is a good thing, because if you're using OBS, we can actually add it as a browser source, because some of the guys on YouTube are saying add it as a video capture and screen capture, sorry, but that's a bit of a pain because you can't really move that screen around. If you do move it around, then that's going to cause you issues, because if you have a screen over it. But here, back on Windows, basically open up the menu, camera IP. I didn't have OBS Streamlabs installed, so I couldn't record my recording screen, so this is a mobile phone is a bit amateurist, sorry, but it'll give you an idea of what's going on. So basically add it as a source, as a browser, call it wherever. I'll call it test IP or something, and when you click OK, it gives you this screen where you can put an internet URL. So that's where you want to put your IP address. You can change the resolution here to 1280 by 720, and then just make sure that it's shut off when it's not on that screen, so you can use that camera on multiple scenes. So click OK. So here that basically gives you that now. So I'll show you what that looks like. And actually it's a wireless webcam, because you can see there I'm kind of like linked on a Wi-Fi network, so I can actually walk around and give you a tour and stuff as well, so that's quite good. So yes, I think this will come in handy, because what I'm planning to do is, you'll see that's my starting screen, that's my main screen. So I'm looking just over here, I've got a chat screen, this is going to be for live stream, and news segment, a hold screen which plays a bit of music, live desktop so you can actually see me doing stuff, dual cam.
The second option I'm going to show you is an action camera for live streaming. You may have seen my channel is about photography, but it's naturally led me into different types of video work. So this is an action camera, which is here, and that action camera can be used as a webcam. I'm going to show you some clips of how I did that, how I did multi-angle shots. Let's go into that now. So I'm going to give you a side-by-side comparison. This is the Goodman's action camera, which is currently the small one you're seeing. Alongside that, this is the new Advent action camera. If I resize that one, it's that one there. So if I resize this, it is a different aspect ratio, because it obviously is a bit zoomed in. That's those two cameras side by side, and to compare them to something even more, well, high end, is the DSLR camera, which is in the back. If I bring that down, this third one is a DSLR camera, and that's up there. So it gives you a rough idea of how good the Advent action camera is versus a 1080p action camera. Did I call it on a webcam? So Advent webcam is this one action camera, that one, and that's the DSLR. So that's giving you a 3-point view of how good that is. And if I go to wide, this is the new Advent action camera. I turn that off. Then this one here is the Goodman's action camera. First one was the webcam. This is the action camera, and then the final one is this, which is the EOS, which is a DSLR camera. So if you're looking for different qualities, this is basically a comparison between a Goodman's action camera as a webcam, an actual Advent webcam, and a DSLR camera. So again, there you go. Okay, what's the best thing about an action camera for as a webcam? There's a number of things that it helps you with. In those clips you would have seen, I used it fairly easily. It's quite small. I can stick it on different angles. It's plugged via USB. You can take the battery out. There's no battery requirements. The battery doesn't run out. Whenever you turn it on, it's on and it works. I'll link you again in the description to different action cameras that can do that, because I know if you're not in the UK, it's quite hard to pick up the Goodman's action camera. But for live streaming, it is an option. Lighting is going to be a big thing, so make sure to check out my lighting section to see how the best way you can light yourself is to get the best from cheaper small cameras. But there comes a time in your life when there's not enough light. I've been using this little LED panel for a while, been doing well. Got 2 of them and they perform decently, but you need to upgrade and you need to. So that's the settings there, exactly as before, but all I've really done is put a light up and it's a lot brighter. It's like bloody daylight. So I've got 2 of them. One has a soft diffusion on, an extra soft diffusion. That one there is just raw. It's a purple tinge. I'll put that right behind me, acting as a hair light and a bit of a background. Just there, a bit of a background to make me pop from the background. That purple and green goes quite nice. You can see they've got like purple wings. It's really interesting. So I've got one LED light just over to my right. If I turn that on, okay, there, so that's light over to my right, which is giving me a bit of fill light. And right now in the back it's quite dark, so I wasn't sure to keep it, if I wanted to keep it dark or if I wanted it a bit more bright. So I've got another LED panel over here which I've lighted. I'll show you that now. So as I turn that on, you'll see that gives you a bit more of a clear-cut look. Talking about photography, I'll have just the background dark because there's not much interest there, but in this one I wanted it lit well, just to give you an idea of what type of lighting works. So that's the 2 lights I've used. I could do this with 1 light, which I'll show you in a second, but let me just put my background LED light on. So now you'll see there's some background LED lighting going on. So that just gives you a bit of pop. The reason I'm looking off there is because I've got my phone on a monitor, so it's kind of showing me what is going on, because my old Canon 550 doesn't have a flippy out screen, so you can make do with old kit. I mean, my kit's not excellent, but it makes videos, so that's the main idea. Good content rules apparently. So I'll put the LED light on. I'll turn that light off, which was the main light, and then this fill light, if I take the diffusion panel off, you'll see it gets a lot brighter and a lot harsher. So you notice that that's all that I'll put on front of it. It's just that material there. This section is going to be about the mid-range camera options you've got available for you. I'll show you an example of a camcorder that I've set up. Let me bring you on to that angle there, and that is going to show you the camcorder itself. I'm going to show you some clips now about the camcorder, how you can place it in different positions. I've got an angle of it on my desk, I've got a top down angle of it and a few options. So have a look at those and see what you think. This sort of quality from a camcorder, and if you use it as a USB and a Canon DSLR, that's what you're going to get. This is a quick test just to give you an idea, like for like, literally on the best gaming mouse video. This is a Seika, not for sale, as you can see clearly noted there, because it came as part of the ROG package. And that should be your watch for today. And I'm not looking at the camera, I'm looking at the watch. So should you buy it? It's got a click. Okay, so I'm hoping you found that little clip useful. That's some clips I recorded previously. With camcorders, what you will want to find is continuous power. Continuous power is going to be your friend. With camcorders, how they work is you can plug a battery with them. They go on for ages, so you can just use them and record for ages. But if you have an adapter unit, which X Pro, I'm not sponsored by them, but that's the one I use. I was able to pick it up fairly quickly online. I'll put a link in the description. You can get it for any make of camcorder you've got. It's a 1080p camcorder. You can zoom it. You can set it with the clean HDMI, which you're seeing at the moment. There's no like menus or anything around the screen. And yeah, that's the camcorder. Would I recommend it? I would. If you're live streaming and you just want to stream, you don't want to think about all that long-winded stuff, that's a good option for you. Let me show you how you set this up in OBS. So I'll show you a quick clip of how you can add cameras in OBS. Yes, HDMI. Right now, that is my sources screen on Streamlabs OBS. You can see I have my display capture, which is showing you what I'm doing. I add a source. Once I add a source, I go to video capture device. You select that and you do add source. Once you add source there, what will happen is it will allow you to pick a new camera source. So I'm adding a new one. I'll call it HDMI 1. Let's call it 1 as in the letter 1 would be better, wouldn't it? Okay, there. I'll add source and then it comes to a screen. Once your USB devices are plugged into your computer, it'll give you there. See that USB video? That is both of those cards. If I had 3, it'll show me 3. As long as you've got the USBs on your computer or laptop, you're fine. So there's HDMI 1. I can turn it on and off by the eye. Depends how familiar you are with OBS. I might do a separate video if that's something you want to know about. So, okay, next one I'll do again. I want to add a video capture device. Add source. Do a new source. Let's call it a new name. So I'll call this one HDMI 2. So for the second camera, just remember which one is which. So when you're switching between them is a bit more nicer for the viewer. So here I picked the second one. So right there I've been able to add that, done, and I have 2 cameras, 1 and 2. So that shows you how easy it is to add in OBS. And what that allows you to do is you can just untick it while you're doing a session. So right now I'm recording the video. I can just click and show you a different view, which is handy. So that's how to set it up. That's why you would set it up. Okay, so this is going to be the third option. This is a bit more pricey. This is going to be around DSLRs. So DSLRs, if you're already a photographer, you probably have these. So it might actually be a cheaper option for you. You'll have to get a capture card. You'll have to make sure your HDMI out of your camera is clean. What we mean by clean is there's no menus around it. I'll show you some clips of the DSLR in action so you can see the types of angles and what it looks like with different angle shots, like the wide and the zoom. It's moving. It's not moving, so what if I do that? That's still not great. Flash, and I'll give you a link in the description where you can actually check it out and see how much it's worth. Currently going for $59.96. It's a cheap flash which takes 4 AA batteries, and it's a great addition to your kit if you want to use it for the EOS R5 and 8K shooting pro mirrorless camera. It looks quite nice actually. A lot of the dials on it and it looks quite up. This is the TV with a 24 to 70 millimeter lens at 24 millimeters, which is here. Now I'm switched live over to my wide angle shot, which looks okay. The idea is I'm going to show larger product, so I want a wider shot. So you can see here, that's the camera that I was looking at just a moment ago. This is a wide camcorder shot, and this will give you an idea of the different angles and how they look in photography. That is a 1080p camcorder, and this is a DSLR. You can tell it's got a nice background blur on the DSLR. It looks a bit more natural. I look a bit more normal, whereas that I look a bit compressed in a way, so I look a bit, which is unusual. So that's a quick test of those 2 wide and further away angles. So that would have been a look at the DSLR camera and how it performs. You can set up multiple camera angles. You will need to get a camera adapter if you want to stream for a long period of time. So with the DSLR, you can stream for a certain amount of time depending on the type you've got. It can automatically turn off if it gets too hot. So the key is to make sure that you've got the right type of camera, you're in the right mode, and you've tested it. There's a few options for webcams and DSLRs, which I'll link you to in the chapters, but it's basically a tool that lets you make Canon cameras into a webcam, which is an alternative.